We've all heard about the 1947 Roswell incident, where the US military at first admitted to retrieving a downed flying disc, only to retract the admission one day later. While this historical UFO case has intrigued the public for decades, it pales in comparison to another UFO incident that occurred in South America precisely 30 years later. Like Roswell, the Colares incident involved the Air Force. The difference between the two was that the Brazilian UFO investigation didn't involve a crash. It involved a series of encounters that resulted in injuries to as many as 400 citizens. It also led the Brazilian Air Force to conduct an investigation that spanned more than a year called Operation Prato. In 1977, the Brazilian Air Force became involved in one of the most enigmatic and fascinating cases in the history of UFO investigations. This classified military operation was launched in response to numerous reports of unusual aerial phenomena on the northern Brazilian island of Colares. The events that transpired during Operation Prato not only intrigued the military and local inhabitants, but also remained a significant chapter in the history of UFO studies. To this day, the Brazilian military's role in the operation remains shrouded in mystery. The primary goal of Operation Prato was to collect evidence of the UFO activity in the region. The investigation was based out of the town of Colares, where the sightings were concentrated. Local witnesses reported seeing unusual lights and objects in the sky, often at night, which seemed to move erratically and exhibit peculiar behavior. The investigators used a variety of methods to gather data, including eyewitness interviews, radar scans, and photographic evidence. One of the most remarkable aspects of Operation Prato was the use of military aircraft. In some cases, they reported having direct encounters with these unidentified craft. Colonel Hollander and his team were able to capture photographs and video of the objects, though most of the images taken have remained classified. Due to the visual evidence and testimonies from local civilians, the Brazilian Air Force determined that something unusual was occurring on the island. One of the most disturbing aspects of the investigation was the phenomenon that some witnesses described as laser-like beams emitted from the UFOs, which were said to cause injuries to the people who were struck by them. Eyewitness accounts from the people of Colares played a significant role in the operation. Many local residents provided testimony about their encounters with the strange lights. Some described seeing glowing spherical objects that hovered above the ground, while others reported that the lights followed them or their vehicles as they traveled through the area. Several individuals spoke of seeing the lights emit a powerful beam of energy that caused intense pain. One particularly well-known case involved a woman who claimed to have been struck by one of these beams. According to her account, she felt a sudden intense heat and was temporarily paralyzed. She was left with burn marks on her skin, which were caused by the beam. The testimony from the people of Colares painted a picture of an area under siege by unknown aerial phenomena. These stories were consistent across various accounts, and many people in the region became fearful of venturing outdoors after dark, afraid that they might become targets of the mysterious lights. Throughout the investigation, the Brazilian Air Force maintained a high level of secrecy. Colonel Hollander and his team operated under the strictest confidentiality. They were tasked with monitoring the situation without drawing undue attention to the investigation. In a remarkable turn of events, some members of the military who were directly involved in the operation began to report strange occurrences themselves. These included equipment malfunctions, unexplained radar readings, and even psychological effects on the personnel. Several pilots reported feeling uneasy and disoriented during their flights, and some claimed to have been in close proximity to the unknown objects but were unable to visually identify them. The investigation continued for more than a year, with the Brazilian Air Force monitoring the situation until December 1978. Colonel Hollander himself became deeply invested in the investigation, and his personal accounts suggest that he was convinced of the legitimacy of the phenomenon. In an interview given years later, Colonel Hollander admitted that the evidence was compelling. He also expressed frustration at the lack of solid evidence that could conclusively prove the existence of extraterrestrial technology. Even stranger was the fact that 3 months after granting the interview, Colonel Hollander reportedly committed suicide by hanging himself using the belt of his bathrobe. In the years that followed, the Colares investigation remained a closely guarded secret, and for decades the full details remained classified. However, in 2004, the Brazilian government declassified a portion of the documents related to Operation Prato, though many details still remain classified. The Colares incident remains one of the most intriguing and mysterious military UFO investigations in history. The fact that the Brazilian Air Force devoted significant resources to investigating them speaks to the gravity of the situation. The testimonies from local witnesses, military pilots, and the photographic evidence all suggest that something truly unusual occurred in the skies over Colares in 1977. To this day, Operation Prato is a subject of interest among UFO enthusiasts, military intelligence, and researchers alike. Many believe that the objects encountered by the military and civilians were extraterrestrial in origin. The operation remains a unique, unsolved mystery that continues to inspire curiosity and wonder to this day.